Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Conversations with Luciana, the house that Luciana has built, where everyone has a place at the table. If you're a new listener, I bring you greetings and salutations. If you are a returning listener, welcome back, family. Real talk on real issues, real life situations. Keep in mind, advice is never given, but opinions and a new perspective is always welcome. You can find me on most podcast streaming services as well as YouTube under Conversations with Luciana. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure to turn on your notifications to know when the next Conversation with Luciana are posted. My posting schedule is as follows: Motivational Monday, Inspirational Empowerment Tuesday, Open Forum Thursday, Coffee and Tea with Luciana on Sundays. YouTube exclusives are on Mondays and Saturdays. If you would like to submit a topic of conversation or be a guest on a podcast episode of Conversations with Luciana, email me at conversationswithluciana@gmail.com. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a good one. Let's go. Gather around the campfire, boys and girls. It's story time. The Diary of Time Foolery. I'm going to turn this into a series, right? You can look up the definition because it really is a definition. The Diary of Tomfoolery. Lack common sense, I would say. Lack of common sense. Unable to conduct yourself in a mature, intelligent manner. You give into social media. You got get out in public and you think your behavior is acceptable when it's unacceptable. You with the nonsense, you with the foolishness. Somebody that, is talking loud in the library, or you in a grocery store, and because somebody might have a lot of stuff in their basket because they shop for the month and not for the week, you getting all frustrated, irritated, and you just act out. That's the foolery. But this particular story has to relate to women with the Diary of Tomfoolery. Y'all with the shenanigans and foolery, I don't understand it. You lack conviction. You lack self-awareness. You wear clothes that are too tight. You don't practice hygiene right. You think that smell from your lower part of your body is, I just had a bad reaction to something I ate. No, you got a bacterial disease. Tomfoolery, the diary of tomfoolery. You're just doing things that are just not ladylike. I mean, you go to the point where you believe your bad behavior is acceptable. Showing up at people's job, wanting to fight people. You want to scam people. You with the foolishness. And it's just not cool. But I want to talk about tomfoolery in relation to relationships, really. It's like, you need to be able to handle, most of us cannot handle ourselves in situation where we need to be mindful of our surroundings and who we engage with. Some of this stuff y'all been doing is not acceptable anymore, right? It's just not. Acting ugly, looking like a stuffed pimento olive in something that is too tight, wearing nothing but like a sheer shower curtain, going outside with just a thong and no bra on. What's wrong with you? You with the foolery. You chew with your mouth open where everybody see your food. See you just chewing it. When it says close your mouth and chew properly. You know what? There used to be finishing schools, right? That's obsolete now. Now you're learning how to become by watching somebody either on a pole, on the stroll, or on TV. I'm just saying, y'all, with the foolery. The Diary of Tomfoolery wants you to understand that you don't want to be like this. You do not want to be like this. Ladies, keep your legs closed until you are certain. I don't care what society, social media is telling you to do. You cannot win a man's heart through sex. You cannot do it. You can try, but you can't, because they're going to go on to the next one. I was reminded of a story that someone told me, and I was absolutely flabbergasted. And I'm going to tell you, it's a true story of a guy and a girl and another girl. The two ladies, they didn't know each other, but they were willing to prostitute themselves, call him their pimp in order to be in a relationship with him. Now, he has some common sense. He was just like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing all that. That's not something that I want to be a part of. They was with it. He was not. Who is raising your daughters? Who are raising your daughters to think that way? He had some self-respect when they lacked self-respect. No, he wasn't going to do that. He said, that's not something that I'm interested in doing. They couldn't believe it. They thought a way to a man's heart was to give him money for them selling their body to another person and bringing the profits to him will make him want to be with them. Come on now. Come on now. That's with the Diary of the Tomfoolery. Some of these circumstances we put ourselves in, right? We do. And we want to blame others for the mistakes that we make. You know, you are influenced by social media or what you see on TV or your cousin or your sister next door to you. You don't know. You just are easily manipulated into thinking that wrong is right and right is wrong. What's wrong with you? Get it together. You're out there making babies without any thought that child's going to grow up. That child needs to be parented, right? You can't be out there swinging from the chandelier when you got little Timothy who can't read or write. It needs you to be at home, you know? I don't know. And then you want to argue and you want to think that that's acceptable behavior. You with the foolishness. You want to get loud. You want to cuss out your boss and lose your job. And then you want to say, oh, I'm going to sue because you don't want to do the work. You want to get paid $90 an hour for 2 hours worth of work and you got a third grade education level. Come on, stop it. Stop it. You with the foolery. You know, sometimes we blame other things for the things that we have caused in our life, right? Right? We do. You know what? No man, I remember hearing a story, no man is going to want a woman who have all those kids. No, that's not necessarily true. A man does not want to come into a household of chaos. He doesn't want to take care of somebody else's responsibility. Right? He's willing to take on that responsibility in some cases, but when you put more on him than the father of your children, that's a problem. You know, I'm also reminded of a story of a man, and he was a preacher too, who had 2 kids. He was a young preacher, you know, he wasn't seasoned. He was a preacher who went out and had 2 babies by this girl and then turned around and married somebody else. The mother of his 2 children, he didn't really give any respect to, which I had a problem with that. But his wife, he treated, you know, the girl that he married, he put her on the pedestal. Now that woman, his wife, should have said, wait. What about those 2 babies that you had? We have to take care of them as well. She was with the foolery. She didn't care because she got the man. What woman would really have a respect for a man who don't take care of his responsibility? Just because he married you don't mean he won't leave you, right? But we're talking about ladies, you know, ladies who walk around thinking that sex sells, right? You can dress like a harlot. That's what they used to call him, a harlot. They used to dress like where it leave nothing to the imagination. And then I'm not saying that, you know, that I'm better or if someone's better than you. But it's like, you know what? Don't try to justify your intent. That's another thing that people do. You know what your intention is. We see it all the time. NBA, NFL, women who prey on these men, they do things to get these men attention. They have a baby by them, and then they got a paycheck for the rest of their life. Come on now, y'all with the foolery. The Diary of Tomfoolery. And this is not bashing my sisters. I'm not bashing y'all. I'm just saying this is what it is. Call it for what it is. Men are smarter, so are you. You don't have to do that, but yet and still you do it. You know, the oldest game in the book. The oldest game in the book. You trapping people. You know, you want to make sure that you secure the bag for 18 years. Come on now. Come on now. And some actually marry the man. But then they create problems, celebrities too. They are with somebody in the humble beginnings, and then all of a sudden they get a certain status in life, and then they forget who they was married to, or you drift apart and you marry somebody else. You do the same stuff on the second wife that you did on the first wife, and then you want to act like you come across as this, person that, or the wife come across like, oh, I didn't do that. Yes, you did. Before it was a you, it was a me, and you got him because you intervened in something that you had no business doing. But now you're gonna pop off like you, the queen bee. No dig at Beyonce. So calm down. I'm just saying you think you the queen bee on top, and next thing you know, he does it to you. So there's nothing new under the sun. You know what? You got to be careful. Remember I tell you about karma? Karma will always find her way or his way home. Karma is not gender Pacific. It doesn't care what color you are. Neither does the Diary of Tomfoolery. The book of Tomfoolery does not care. Does not care if you're black, white, purple, Asian, or red. Doesn't matter. If you're highly educated or you have a very low IQ, doesn't matter. You're with the foolery. You're with the shenanigans. You're with the drama, the BS. You're another person to stumble and fall. And sometimes we get in our own way, right? Sometimes we're tripping over the ottoman and we're tripping over the coffee table because we won't move it. We won't get out our own way, right? You are influenced by what you see on TV. That's not actually true, or see on your phone now, because no one sits down and watch TV unless you're watching the reality shows where we get in our mind that people really act like that. Nobody's walking up into anybody and letting anybody cuss them out. That's not going to happen. You know what? It's not going to happen. Not in this lifetime, not with Luciana, but now we're taking Luciana and inputting her into the story. Some of the stuff that you see and you see people act out, they're acting out, right? They're easily influenced by what they see. I remember there was a show that's gone off. Now it was Empire, and people were trying to become and actually be Cookie. You can't be that way. That's a character in a TV show. But some of you guys emulate that. It's like, come on now. Come on now. Get with the program. Get with the program. Those are professors acting out. But the sad part about the Diary of Tomfoolery, people are like that every day, all walks of life. Doesn't matter if you're young or old. It applies to you. You're walking in ignorant bliss. Yes, you are. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? We all want to be forgiven for our sins, right? But what happens when you are the person that continue to get out of one situation, get into another situation, you with the foolishness? You know what? You need to clear your mind. You need to clear your mind once and for all, and just become somewhat where reality TV is not your reality, right? And you know who you are when the cameras are off. Some people are playing a role, and you don't necessarily have to be on TV, but you're filming everything that you're doing. I remember in the story, there were girls who, you were told to act like a lady, cross your legs, wear slips, just be very dainty, In this story, the more raunchy you can be, the better. That's not always the case. That's not always the case. So with the Diary of Tomfoolery, I just want to talk about you got to be better. Act like a lady. Don't think like a man. Act like a lady. Act like you got some sense. You know, in the story, in the series of The Diary of Tom Foolery, you know, Big Mama or your grandmama that was called them fast girls. Fast girls. You're just fast. Sit your little fast tail down. They didn't want you to grow up because they know if you act like that, you're headed down a dangerous, windy road that you may not recover. So act accordingly. Act like you got some sense. You know, act like you got some sense in the story. As I conclude the story, act like you got some sense. You know what? The book of tomfoolery is open, but you can rewrite one of those chapters, right? You can. So I'm encouraging y'all. Look up the definition of the Diary of Tomfoolery. And if you find yourself in that story, if you're in that definition, in this story, stop it. Stop it and get somewhere and sit down and get some sense. Stay tuned. Part 2, story time. The Diary of Tomfoolery is coming soon. Just wanted to give you guys a little taste. I hope you found it to be entertaining but somewhat truthful. Perspective. Hope you have a great day. Bye. Thank you for listening to another podcast episode of Conversations with a Luciana. I look forward to speaking with you again. Until then, be kind to yourself and others. Make every day your best day. Stay encouraged and press forward, for the best is yet to come. Peace, and I'm out. Let's go.